Hello, everybody. It's time for your Wildeye Wednesday review with Hobbs. We have our Raw and Extreme line Wildeye feature. The streets run red. There's death on every corner. Let's get right into the cover art here. Oops. Maybe should not have shown some of that. You have Tony Moran. You guys know Tony Moran. Lloyd Kaufman, Richard Chandler, Elizabeth D'Ambrose, Aurora Grabil, Josh Benger, Jack Sullivan, amongst others. And this is the first title I've ever purchased from Family Video that had the must be 18 to rent. But I bought that motherfucker. So, that's right, because you know what? We do pay for our Wildeye titles as well, guys. So, we get them sent to us to review, and we buy them, contrary to what people think. But, think what you want. It's all good, because we love Wildeye. We love reviewing their films, no matter how we get them. We appreciate the fact that we can even do them, because they put out a lot of amazing content. Even though this one was not sent to me, go check out Wildeye Releasing. You've got the right guy with the Wildeye. Let's get right into this piece of work here known as The Streets Run Red. It is, on every stretch of the imagination, extreme and raw. We follow a murder that's taken place as there's a confrontation between a guy that's out shopping and another guy. And in that confrontation, one guy gets completely decapitated and his neck is completely slashed and it raises a lot of eyebrows. So they arrest a guy, but they don't completely think it's him. And he's in prison and whatnot. Meanwhile, they're finding cases of other brutal murders that have happened since in very brutal fashions. And he gives them ideas as to what the killer could have been, not knowing entirely if he was the primary person that did it or not. The police are still investigating all the cases, trying to figure out who the killer is, basically. It's basically a homage to figuring out who the killer is. Not to mention, not just a killer, the Kubrick killer. That's right, that's what I said. The Kubrick killer. So that is the plot of the film, basically trying to figure out where these brutal murders are coming from, why they're being done, and who's doing it. They even go as far as going to a psych ward to ask if they've seen this guy or some of the traits that the killer may have been displaying in order to do these brutal killings. So let me give you my thoughts on this. This is one of the ones that I cannot recommend to everybody if you're not into extreme gore and horror. There is some grotesque scenes in this as well. The guy is a sexual serial killer, so he is sexual psychotic killing. So he is cutting into body parts. He is pulling out body parts, and he is also completing sexual acts during the killings. And basically, it's your everyday necrophilia type situations. Close to it, because sometimes they're not completely dead, but it's in that realm, okay? But they are brutal, so I gotta tell you, you gotta be prepared. These films really don't bother me too much because I like to look at the effects. The effects were great. The effects were fantastic. I do agree with Jason, though. The blood does look a little bit like Hawaiian Punch, which For all intents and purposes, it is what it is. The budget was $15,000, and this came out in August in 2017. And Wood Kaufman does have a brief role in it, as he is the announcer in the Super Bowl football game previews that is about to happen as well during the film. But, to me, it was okay. I didn't completely hate it. It was better than some extreme titles I've seen, but they definitely take it to the next level. So I warn you guys with caution. Be prepared for this one. It is to the next level. The acting was okay. One thing I did not like, sometimes I don't mind cops playing kind of the dumb cop role or the unintelligent cop role. I either want it to be really good, really funny, or really serious cop roles. And this was just kind of in between. I wish we could have had a little more seriousness out of the cops in the film, but it is a Wildeye title. So you're not going to get a lot out of it in terms of that aspect, but they were still good. But that's my only qualm with the film. I do recommend this to you if you like extreme titles. And I'm not talking about just extreme murdering. I'm talking about extreme gore, sexual psychotic killings, serial killings, those type of things. This is definitely for you. If you're not into that stuff, if you're kind of like a medium grade horror type film where you don't like too much gore, this is definitely not recommended for you. For people like myself, Rick, Dave, and even Jason, Brad, people that have seen this movie, and Rick, I'm not for sure if you've seen it or not, but it's highly recommended. Other than that, go give it a watch. It's different, and the gore was on point. All right, guys, this is The Streets Run Red. This is Hobbs with your Wildeye Wednesday. Don't forget to show love and give a sub if you like what you see. Go subscribe to the channel and also check out Wildeye Releasing. All right, guys.